Okay guys, here's the first 4 problems for you tonight. You need to finish the last 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own. But here's the first 4 as a little, that we did together in class. Solving systems word problems, number 3. Okay, we're going to start off, says the sum of two numbers is 90. So we know sum. We know sum is plus. We know our two numbers are going to be x and y. And is always stands for equal. So it looks like this. Second part is their difference is 18, so we talk about what those mean. Difference, of course, means subtract. Is still equals. And here, this word there, this there is that pronoun, which is talking about these two numbers over here. It's talking about the x and the y, so we write that out. Once I've got my two equations, I need to decide which method is the best. I believe elimination is going to be the best here, so I add those two together. And you can just see the work. Go ahead and hit pause anytime you need to as you're kind of going through that. These two eliminate, and then you walk through it. Once you know x, in order to find y, you plug it in. Okay, problem number 2, very similar, the second of two numbers. This one has these awkward words, second and first. So we're going to have to determine what that means, second and first. Okay, I just have to choose two numbers. So we chose that the first number would be our x and the second number would be our y. Now see all this right here, this second of two numbers, all those words, I'm just going to replace that with the letter y. Y replaces all of those words. Then, of course, right here I've got is. Okay, we remember that for more than always goes at the end of what we're talking about. Okay, and we talked about that in class, but if I had $4 more than you, and I knew you had 10, then I would have 14, and I know that because I would take your money and then add 4. I wouldn't take 4 plus your money. I would take your money first and then add 4. Anyways, we do have x plus 4. The second one is a little bit easier, a little more straightforward. We got the sum of two numbers. And I'm going to have to determine the best way of solving these. This one looks like it's going to be a substitution problem. So I substitute. I take the x plus the 4. I substitute it here for the y. And I encourage you to hit pause anytime you need to kind of go through each step at a time. Once you know that x equals 26, you can choose either equation to plug it into. I think the first one's easier. Okay, third problem we're looking at the number of girls at Sky High is 60 greater than the number of boys. If there are 1,250 students altogether, how many girls are there? This time they're only asking me for girls, but I think it's pretty obvious I have two variables, girls and boys. Okay, recognize that this letter G for girls replaces all of these words. So even though it's a wordy problem, as soon as I put the letter G in there, that's all that's left is just the letter G. And of course the letter G is means equals. We know that greater than, 60 greater than means plus 60. So I've got G, the girls, is 60 greater than the boys. So B plus 60. The second part, it mentions that all the students altogether, of course, is the total. And anytime we talk about things being altogether or total, we're talking about addition. So if we're talking about addition, we're going to add the girls. Oops. All right. Sorry about that. We're going to add the girls and the boys together. And now we've got two equations. I think the best way to solve this is going to be substitution. So you guys can watch the substitution as we plug in to G. And of course, I encourage you to hit pause anytime you need to. Okay, number 4, last one I'll look at, second of two numbers. Again, we have this second of two numbers. So talking about up here, the second of two numbers, we need to determine which numbers are first and which ones are second. So we determined that y was going to be our second number, x was going to be our first. That y replaces all of these words. Is stands for equals. Now here, I recognized I had the 5 more, so I knew that was going to go on the end. So I came here and I looked at twice. Twice means multiplied by 2, so 2 times x. And then 5 more is going to go to the end of that. So it ends up looking like this. Take a moment to think about that for a minute. Make sure you're good with 2x plus 5. The second sentence, the sum of the numbers is 44. That's pretty straightforward. And again, I think substitution is going to be our best method here. We talked in class that this really wouldn't be this would be pretty easy to graph if you wanted to do graphing, but we don't all have graphing calculators at home, so we'll go with substitution. All right, well, your homework is to finish 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's very similar problems. Take your time with it, review this as much as you need, and we'll see you tomorrow.